rush by Fisher. Nice ball movement. DR for three. That's the kind of ball.
The way it's going right now, these guys continue to make the right passes.
Corey Joseph, Patty Mills have played fantastic here in this second half.
Well, the Spurs will, I believe, try to get 2 for 1 here as Ginobili runs the shot clock down. Ginobili watched by Fisher. Nice ball movement. DR for three. That's the kind of ball.
The way it's going right now, these guys continue to play and maintain this lead. They may stay out there for the rest of it.
Kawhi back to Mills, now to Joseph. 5 on the clock. Corey spots Leonard. Red Rocket for three. Oh, yeah!
That gets contagious. They feel that, know how to do it again and again.
The two best three-point shooters, maybe in the league, said, I'm open, but you're more open. No, I'm open, you're more open. Hey, Leandro, you're the most open. The flyby, return it. Wide open, good! And that's Warrior basketball.
Well, that's really got to please.
6.5 remaining, third quarter. Klay Thompson, net on a switch by Duncan, gets it back. Here's the ball movement.
Curry behind the back. Moving around. Warm up three. Yes, sir.
If you watch everything that transpired there, it just has to put a natural smile on your face. The way they moved it. Beautifully done.
That's what greatness is all about right there.
All right, so I found this useful yesterday. Sounds like some of you guys did too. Today we're going to get into things in more detail, so I'm excited about this. Yesterday we talked about dominoes. We talked about what that means, creating advantages, and how we do it. Any other standouts from yesterday for anybody before we move on? Will and Cade, anything?
Not really. I mean, it seems like everybody was attentive, so that's good.
Okay. And remember, when we're doing these, ask questions, because it's not going to be completely clear. So just ask questions for me to re-explain it, or if the video is not clean, we can run it back and try to go over it again. So again, just let's communicate with each other. Okay. Give me one moment. As I set the screen. All right, perfect. Okay, great. So today we're talking about ball screens, okay? How we want to use them and how we want to read the situations. Ball screens are 5 players involved if it's done correctly. Okay, we've only barely grazed the surface on the varsity on how we would want to attack them, and it really only engaged those 2 guys involved. Okay, so now we're going to get into more details on it and how to read it so that you always have an open advantage and you can always trigger your dominoes. Okay, we mentioned triggers yesterday. Ball screen is a trigger to create that domino advantage. So the goal is to create a situation where the defense has one of 2 decisions to make. It's a multiple choice decision, and whichever one they choose, we can then counter react it and get an open option. So I want to start by talking about some of the terminology that's going to be helpful for when we're going through this and when we show the videos, so it makes sense. It might not be fully clear now, but we'll just look at it. We looked at this yesterday, our scoring bases and how we're going to probably space going forward using 2 slots instead of a top of the key, and it'll become clear why that's an effective area for us to use. Questions there? When we're talking about ball screens today and going forward. One moment. Okay. Okay, everyone sees the screen. Can you all see my cursor right now moving?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're in a situation and we're coming off of a ball screen, the front side, simply enough, is the side you're facing. So if I'm coming off moving this direction, the front side is what's in front of me. The back side is obviously behind me now. Okay. If I come off and let's say the screen got turned around and I was now coming this way, the front side would be what's in front of me and the back side would be what's behind me. Okay, front side, back side. One side and two sides. So if we're coming off the screen here and we come off and on our front side, there are two players, we're just going to call it a two-side front side. Okay, so when we're talking about these things, front side, two side, the back side has one side. If we turned it around, it would be a one side front side, two side back side. Simple enough, but that's going to be framing how we're talking about some of the stuff. Okay, some of the spacing terminologies that we're going to use today and then in the video, just so it's clear for all of us. The first one, a shake, pick, and roll is this formation to the right. So a ball screen between the slot and the wing with a one side back side here and a two side front side. So a shake, pick, and roll. Okay, so again, they're not going to have this ingrained, but this is the terminology for this one, a shake, pick, and roll. An elbow pick and roll or a top or middle pick and roll is top of the key, going to a front side, one side with a two side back side. Okay, again, just the terminology, and you'll see these formations show up within a lot of the clips that come up in the video. Wing ball screen, we're not really going to talk about that one right now, but the wing ball screen has a three-side front side and no one on the back side. Okay. Now, there's generally two things that can happen in a ball screen. There's two types of coverages. It's either an aggressive coverage or a conservative coverage. So in trying to make it as simple as possible and to make the reads as clean as possible, we're going to try to put everything into one of those two categories, either an aggressive or a conservative. So if it's an aggressive coverage, an aggressive means the person who is guarding the screener. Okay, that's what's going to designate aggressive or conservative. Okay, so aggressive would be a situation where it's a hedge, where they're stepping out onto the ball, where they're at minimum even at the level of the screen. Everything there is going to be considered aggressive. Even a switch is an aggressive coverage. Okay, and there'll be ways to burn that coverage, attacking it the same way. A conservative, yep, question.
You could still go under the screen and it'd be aggressive?
So you're saying the person on the ball could go under the screen. Good question. We're just talking about this person guarding the screen. So yes, they could go under and this person could be up and then it's an aggressive coverage. However, the goal is going to be to always make the defense go over the screen. Okay, and there's some ways that we do that, which we'll get into. See the angle of the screen right now? That's very important in creating that situation. As we get into it, there'll be some things that we mention. But the goal is going to be to always make the defense go over. If they go under, then we'll rescreen it and get the right angle. Eventually, they have to go over. And once they do, then it's just about making the simple reads. So I want to go through this quickly now, and then we'll see it a lot more in film. But aggressive coverage, we want to diagonal roll to the middle to pull this defender and make it as difficult as possible. Isolate the tag defender on the one side. So we're coming off this shake, pick, and roll, two-side ball screen. If that happens, we're looking to, if we can't make a quick short roll pass, play it to the two-side high player. Now remember our positioning, our scoring bases. Okay, these fit nicely together. It's an aggressive coverage. All 5 players need to be involved. This player needs to know what's happening. This player, this player. So if it's aggressive, this person is stepping into one of the scoring bases so they can catch it, and they have a great angle to make this pass, okay, to the rolling player. Okay, again, may not be fully clear right now, but we'll see some clips of it, and we'll keep coming back to these comments, these pieces.
So, Coach,
Look at it. Yep.
You stay put in that?
So if there's a ball screen happening, we're spacing and everyone is getting ready to read the situation. Okay, so if it's aggressive, we know we're going to play it to the 2-side high player. Okay, and then we're all ready to shoot or cut based on what's happening. Okay, and we'll see more examples of that as we go. But I just want to give a primer for right now. These are good questions. You're probably going to have more questions than not right now. This is conservative coverage in a shake, pick, and roll. So in a conservative coverage, if you can shoot, if you pop, then we're always going to have created an advantage. So conservative, a drop situation or anything where the person guarding the screener is pushed back. If you pop, now you have 1 guarding 2 and they have to make a decision. Okay. We won't get into all the details now, but imagine getting downhill, popping, and then you're just reading who is helping. How is he helping? If he helps early, back cut for a layup. He stays home, it's a pick and pop. Then he closes out hard. It could be a 1 more or a cut. Okay. If you're not a shooter, you can still roll here. There's elements of gray. It's not always clean what's happening. So you just have to react to it and play through it. If we roll in this situation, this is kind of how we've talked about it in the past. This person rolls. What do we need to do to make it difficult for the tag defender?
2 moves up.
Yeah, he's going to lift behind. You're reading each other. All 5 are involved the whole time, and these players are ready to shoot, ready to cut. If it's conservative coverage, you're able to get into the gap, keep spacing. If it's aggressive, what would we want this guy to do? Make himself a possible person to catch so he can make that next pass. Okay, again, this is, again, you're seeing it for the first time, so it's not completely clear and clean. Okay, this is the middle elbow pick and roll where we are getting the screen up top, 1 coming off the screen after a good setup with a 2-side backside. So if we have an aggressive coverage, the one rule we said we're looking to play through the 2-side high. So is the 2-side on the front side anymore? No. 2 sides on the backside. So you come off from aggressive coverage, move from scoring base to scoring base, and you can make the pass. And now we have our diagonal look if we could not hit the quick short roll. Okay, either way, the ball gets into this area, ball gets kicked back, we hit this person in here in the middle of the court. We've isolated the last help defender. What is he going to do? He over helps, back cut for a layup. He helps late, open 3. If he doesn't help at all, it's a basket. Okay, we're gonna see examples of this when we watch the video. And then again, a pop situation. So could pop here, and then we have the options to read or cut based on what's going on. But again, all 5 players involved. All 5 players reading what's going on. Okay. So when we set screens, to create all these options and advantages, we have to be able to set screens and set them up properly. Okay, so we'll watch and we'll stop as needed, but now we're going to look at the screener. What is the screener trying to do? How is he trying to screen? How is he trying to create an advantage for his team? And it's very, very important that you're not just running into the screen.
Are we supposed to hear that guy?
You can't hear him?
There's no audio.
Yeah, I can.
No audio.
Thank you. Yes, you're supposed to hear him.
These different prevention strategies will range from
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ones that are simply conceptual that your players can learn and do on your own at any given point in the game, can be done outside of a given set when you're in randoms, but are simply kind of skills and concepts that they can learn to help them and aid them with preventing coverages in multiple situations throughout the game, whereas other things we'll present are more tactical for you as a coach to work into sets that you're going to run and different concepts that you can use tactically to prevent the coverage. So change of speed and direction. This is one in particular is one that your players can embrace. When we talk about arriving alone, this is simply accelerating on a sprint from a long or short distance to arrive alone at the screen. Change in direction, making a sudden change in direction. End up spending the whole series trying to attack blitzes, trying to attack shows, and they face failure as a function of it.
Sorry.
Year two, they decide they're
skipped ahead by mistake or behind.
Change of speed and direction. And these different prevention strategies will range from ones that given point in the games, but are simply kind of skills and concepts that they can learn to help them and aid them with preventing coverages in multiple situations throughout the game, whereas other things we'll present are more tactical for you as a coach to work into sets that you're going to run. Speed and direction. This is one in particular is one that your players can embrace. When we talk about arriving alone, this is simply accelerating on a sprint from a long or short distance to arrive alone at the screen.
Okay, that's an important point, arriving alone. So you want to get there without your defender. Okay, and as Coach McMains is saying, it's about how you do it. There's different ways to do it. You could change speed, change direction, but you want to create as much space between you and your defender as possible, so it's more difficult for them.
Change in direction, making a sudden change in direction to arrive alone at the screen. And so a lot of this has to do with not selling your action too early. Sometimes it may be the example of you're running down in transition as a trail man and you have your head on the rim and you know you're going to go into the drag screen. You know they're showing, but rather than veering off into that drag screen already from half court and letting everyone in the gym know you're going to set that ball screen, it becomes a sudden change of direction where you don't sell your action early and it's a quick burst. Change of angle. Just before arriving at the screen, flipping the angle of the screen to leave the defender on the wrong side. Something that Anderson Varejao was a master at a time where shows were very prevalent in the NBA, but would constantly catch the show on the wrong side. And then the third concept we'll touch on here that you'll see multiple clips of as we go on is warning signs. And so defined as a deterrent to perform a certain coverage. And this can be done in multiple ways. One, conceptually for the player, and two, tactically. But that you do the wind show and gets ready to take one. From
warning signs
to be as aggressive as they are in the coverage.
I think with warning signs, it kind of removes X5 from being able to help as much as they ordinarily would, because they're generally starting to prepare for the show, and you either punish that or someone else has to take over his help responsibility, and that leads to those whip it passes that Ross referred to you, and you'll see.
Here, so running through just a couple basic examples of those. So you'll see change of speed and direction, just noting the speed of the sprint here.
Okay, just so we're all watching the same person, 45 right here. Doesn't give away what he's doing, and then when he's ready, he sprints to create that separation, change of speed.
David Kravish really taking off on a sprint.
So I don't want to go too in detail about every little thing that's going on here, but screener created a big gap, which makes it difficult for them to defend, especially if it's a situation where they're trying to show and make an aggressive coverage. We're looking at aggressive coverages right now. So he rolls. What did we talk about were your options? If you can slide it through on a quick short roll pass in the pocket right here. Now we have the ball in the middle of the floor. Good things are going to happen. If you can't get it to him, which guy are you hitting? Who remembers the terminology?
Two side high.
Two-side high. So the two-side is now on the back side. This is this elbow top pick and roll formation. And if you hit that guy, he would then have the same angle to get it to that person, which is why ball screens are 5 players fully involved and engaged. And now it's about making a read, catching on a jump stop in the middle of the paint. Last defender. He steps up early at all. He moves over. We're looking to cut behind him. A string cut for a basket. He moves, you move, get yourself a layup. If he's not there, of course, score, or he helps really late, we have an open kick out. We'll see more options.
David Kravish really taking off on a sprint into that pick in that situation. You can see hands on his knees, not selling his action early, and then an absolute dead sprint into the ball screen.
Now, from yesterday, what's created now? Dominoes, right? So now once we have it here, it's just about letting the dominoes fall. First touch decisions, 0 seconds. And if we're all moving and spacing and making the right play, we get the right shot that we want.
All right, coverage compromised. Not completely alone, not super alone, but compromised. This one is interesting from Tomic here. You can see again that same hands-on hip stance that we talked about with Kravish. He's not selling his action.
Again, the subtleties of the game, not clear. And then when he goes, he's going to create a little bit of space
early
because of the changes.
He's at the elbow. He could be there for an elbow catch. He could be there for multiple things. But it's a quick, short burst. It doesn't have to be a long sprint all the time. Here he just makes a quick, short burst to separate and arrive slightly alone. And just that alone compromises the coverage.
Okay, arriving alone. What is this formation now? Or talk to me. We have a one side, front side.
Two-side, backside.
Yep. Good. I'll let you guys answer next time. You guys are paying more attention than I realized. Okay. And this is like an elbow pick and roll, a top pick and roll to the one side. So from there, he could certainly hit him like he does. Or, as we said, who's helping? This guy is helping. You would hit this side, and now he's either closing out hard or we're getting into dominoes now. Dominoes created. Dominoes, and then they don't close out, open shot.
Here's warning signs that pair well with that sprint into it. Sometimes you can, here's warning signs that pair well with that sprint.
So overplaying what he thinks you're doing, and then you can get behind him. Just an option, something that
into it. Sometimes you can catch.
Because ultimately it's about reading the game. We give you guys ideas, and then you guys are making all the decisions out there.
That defender trying to beat you up from being that connected the next time. Same thing here in transition from Vincent Poirier in a drag situation. And then here, talking about changing angle of the screen. The show is on one.
Okay, so watch the change of
and then here, talking about changing angle of the screen.
How is the video? You can all see it okay today?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks. So we're coming up to set it, and as the show gets out early, he flips it at the last second.
The show is on one.
And now there's no help.
One side, angle flipped, and this flips the whole help responsibility of the backside in this situation, as you can see. The low man is shifting in, ready to help, because he's going to be the low man on the two side. But now as the ball comes this way, that ball's arriving way quicker than he expected, because he's now on the front side. Same situation here by Elton Brand. Sprinting in, flipping the screen, catching the show on the wrong side. A great prevent the coverage strategy that's very simple for your players to pick up.
Okay, questions on those principles for the screener? Not really, right? It's about creating that space, and there's different ways to do it to get the defense off balance. Okay, we're going to talk about the ball handler now. Probably last thing we're going to get to today, and hopefully tomorrow we start bringing the whole picture together. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the screener wants to arrive how? Alone, right? That's the word, alone. So you're trying to get there alone. The ball handler also wants to get there alone. So how does the ball handler do that?
Change of speed.
Similar ideas, right? Changing speed, changing direction, and specifically in a ball screen, You're really trying to reject the ball screen and beat the guy going one direction. And if you can beat him going one direction, then no need for the screen. We're already into dominoes. But if he recovers, you're in a great position to use it. So Coach Zico Coronel is going to talk about this in a minute, but here's an example of this situation. Have the ball, tries to set him up hard to reject, doesn't get the reject, but now the defender is backpedaling, and now when you get to the screen, you've created yourself more of that advantage early. Okay? So the way it's phrased is to arrive alone simultaneously. So both players want to arrive alone, but at the same time.
All right, so transitioning across now as we start going through the middle of the continuum towards the punishment end. So we've obviously talked a lot about screener priorities. So now we're moving across more to the ball handler, what we would say is more possibilities. These are things that they possibly could enact to punish coverage. All right, so prior to the screen, so they've got the ball, the screen's coming, the space prior to the screen, they have the option to reject the screen. Now there's two reasons they might reject the screen. One is to trigger dominoes. So they're thinking score or to put the defense in rotation. But the other one is to fight the coverage. This is their setup so that they get separation from their defender. And if they do a really good job, they may also cause X5 to start sinking down into a little bit of help as well, because they think that the guard is getting beat, and then they get separation for themselves and the screener. And the other one they can get pre-screen, especially if they do a great job.
We'll not worry about that one for now.
This one here now, dribbling, look at the setup, loses the handle.
Okay, so we just talked about that setup. Creates a little bit of separation.
A little bit, great setup.
Now, aggressive coverage, the initial read we talked about is what? If you can't hit the quick roll, the short roll, who do you play it to?
High two side.
High two side, exactly. Know where that guy is, this guy knowing where this guy is, everyone engaged. However, very aggressive like that, an option for the ball handler is to dribble over, and now you've got the ball into this middle part of the floor to make the pass on your own. So now you're here, you've dribbled over, and you can make this pass, and it's everything that we've talked about and looked at.
And now he's dribbled over, and he's created the passing angle. So sometimes this can be created with a messy pass, which we'll talk about soon.
So they call, and I actually like the term, the messy pass is that quick pass to the two high. Messy pass, because it's a quick decision.
The quick pass, but here he's done it with the dribble and then in conjunction with a diagonal dive. So
see why it's so important to go diagonally, because if you go straight down the lane, one player can guard two, which is what we're trying to avoid. We looked at it yesterday.
The question here for Kevin Pangos is who can help? And the question here for Tomic, the roller, is who can help? And in this situation, it's likely to come from the last man, the low man, the two side. And so they want to extend the help. So if Tomic rolls straight down here, it's not so long a help. But by coming diagonally, he extends the help and he makes the passing decisions much easier for his passer, because it's very obvious what this man's doing. Is he out with the shooter? Is he in on the roll? And he's able to make an easy decision here.
We can score.
Similar thing, just letting it play. All right, exactly the same concept. Dribble over.
Okay, the same top pick and roll.
They don't bail into that. They bail out of the show, but the diagonal dive creates the passing angle. Right? It's not always going to be to the roller. We see here Doncic trying to dribble over. The big stays with it, gets pulled.
So if he did hit the roller or hit the two side high to hit the roller, now we're where we want to be. Ball in the middle of the floor. Tag defenders, the help defenders have to make decisions. he's going to make an incredible pass. Maybe this is something we should be working on, but this is probably not a pass any of us can make right now.
Pulled very wide. He's now asking himself the question, who can help? And most likely it's this low man here. Is he helping? Yes, he is. So therefore we skip it back all the way to the backside corner. It's tremendous technical skills on the pass. Same situation here. Show, diagonal dive, extend the help, he commits in. All right, and this is what we say when you're trying to make it easy for your passers to make these decisions, the diagonal dive makes it very easy for them. I think almost all players who are good enough for you to dedicate a pick and roll position to them are going to be good enough to work out which one of these two people is the open receiver. Whereas if you make a straight dive, it can be very complex and difficult to make that decision. This is an obvious skip pass, and now the dominoes are falling, and they're able to use their domino concepts to get to the easy bucket.
Awesome. I think like just those two videos, such a huge aspect of player development there. And like Zeke's going to dive into some stuff tactically that you do to deal with punishing the shows, but just alone the amount of time you can invest individually with your ball handlers, with your screeners, and being able to attack shows in that manner, there's a lot to dive into there.
So with punish the show, a few objectives that you're trying to accomplish. And for this is unspecified spacing. So we want to trigger the dominoes falling, and we want to get to generate efficient shots on the rim and kick out, catch and shoot threes. Corners first, anywhere else second. And there's three basic objectives that we're trying to accomplish to get to that point. We want to isolate the tag help defender, and ideally we want to isolate the single tag defender. Shake pick and roll, middle pick and roll, you can easily do that.
Okay, so those are the spacing we've looked at. Shake pick and roll, if you're coming off. In this situation, aggressive coverage up here. Diagonal roll. The single side tag is going to be the person here. Backside of the defense, one person isolated. And if you can isolate that one person to guard two, you have high percentage shots, hopefully layups in this area, or it creates dominoes elsewhere. Okay, same for the elbow pick and roll. Maybe this one will make a little more sense now. More going on, coming off the elbow pick and roll, this quick messy pass behind. And now once the ball gets in this spot and you're making this diagonal roll, there's only one single side tag help defender. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to watch a lot more video with this coach walking us through it in this clip, and then hopefully by the end of tomorrow we'll have finished the presentation piece, and then we're just going to watch some different clips and different ball screen actions and try to evaluate what's going on, to see the things that we're talking about. And if we can see it here visually, I think it's going to be much better translation on court. So that's why I'm excited about this. Okay, the next thing for us. Any questions right now before we head to the workout session? Okay. I will get the link because I have. Okay, so yesterday talked about ball screens. The big takeaway from yesterday was the setups, how we want to arrive. Does anyone remember the term?
Arrive alone?
Yeah, arrive alone. Yes. So the screener and the ball handler want to arrive as separated from their defenders as they possibly can. So again, different ways to do that: change of speed, change of direction, change of angle. And with the ball, setting your man up, trying to reject the screen, and then getting yourself in position to come off. Okay, setups for both are very important. We'll start the video from yesterday. From right here, we can start it and then just talking about some of the different
Wing pick and roll. Ideally, we want to isolate the single tag defender. Shake pick and roll, middle pick and roll, you can easily do that. Wing pick and roll, you just have to accept they're going to isolate the tag defender, but it won't be a single tag. We want to stretch that tag defender. So we want to extend the distance between their help responsibility and their matchup responsibility. And you saw that done very, very well with the diagonal dives by Tomic and by Tenerife in those last few clips. And then we want to get the ball in the middle. The benefit to having the ball in the middle is that all 4 potential receivers are as one pass away or as close as possible without one defender being able to defend 2. So preserving our Dominoes rules and putting everyone one pass away. And therefore, this makes the priority passes. The Messi pass, so Lionel Messi, the greatest passer in football history, in many people's estimation, known for his quick passing. So the Messi pass, a quick pass to the too high.
Remember, asking questions here. If we're not clear or if we're forgetting from yesterday, again, that's what this is for us to see things and talk about it.
And the target is very important. We want to put it in front of the receiver, so you lead them into their vision and seeing the floor, and basically a chest height catch, because the next pass they're likely to make is an overhead pass. So we're talking about split seconds that you're trying to use efficiently to generate an open roll man. If you give away time by throwing behind them or low, that might be enough for X5 to show and close the roll man down. That's priority 1 pass. There is the pass to the short roll. If that's the case, we're trying to throw to the inside hand closest to the hoop of the receiver. And then, as we talked about in the previous thing, the maestro ball handler, the Teodosic, the Luka Doncic, the maestro, they can dribble over the show into the middle themselves and make the pass.
And we'll be looking at those different options initially to start with our pass.
Read what they're looking for.
All right, and we won't talk to it in too much detail. I'm more than happy to share this.
Okay, very important diagram. Everyone can see my mouse.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you. So this is which formation, or it says it, the shake pick and roll. So ball over here, screen coming, 2 side, front side, 1 side, back side. Okay, so as we come off, now all the different reads we can make are in here. If it's an aggressive coverage, which is what we're looking at right now, aggressive versus conservative, the defender of the ball screener is aggressive, is up in some way, looking to make the short roll, dribble over, make the too high pass, and the key is the diagonal dive to the middle and to the rim to extend who? X3, and X3 is called what?
The help defender.
He's the help defender, and in all these ball screen situations, we're trying to isolate the help defender that is on the one side. So the single side tag defender, so that if we have a roll, it's diagonal toward the middle, this person has to guard 2, and it's not possible for this person to guard 2. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking for in these videos.
Slide the diagrams with people in the aftermath of presentation. But you can see here, this is in a shake pick and roll spacing, and in green, the 3 objectives. So on this pass, all right, the Messi pass puts the ball in the middle. That isolates the single side tag. And then this diagonal dive extends the help for X3.
Maybe that's an important one to explain. So why is it called a tag help defender?
Because he's got to like pick who to like guard.
Essentially, yes, but the tag part of it is it's a ball screen. So they're the person who has to tag the roller. Defense is taught to tag the roller to the basket in this ball screen situation. So their job would be to try to make contact, make it difficult for them to get the ball there. And the further you spread that guy, the more difficult their job becomes, to the point where it's not tenable.
Extends the help for X3. You can see if you had a straight dived, how short the help would be. Diagonal dive extends the help. All right, and a couple little things, because we're going to show some clips to be aware of. All right, for the receiver of the messy pass, now when we say to the too high, you'll see this is the two side. Here's the too high, the too low. We want to make the messy pass to the too high. So in shake, this is a front pass. And when the ball gets here, the person who receives, all right, has these options. Catch and shoot if they're wide open. Now they should have.
Okay, so the options are just based on who is helping and where. So if you catch the ball and you're open, that probably means the defender here is helping out on the roll, which means you're open to catch and shoot. Okay, if you're not open, potentially it could be a quick one more pass to the corner because that person was helping. So you're looking for who is helping and when and who is open because of that. These are parts of the reasons why pick and roll offense is 5 players involved at all times. All 5 need to be able to read the coverage. The screener needs to know what type of coverage it is aggressive. Ball handler needs to know, and the other 3 players in the court need to know so they can all be getting into position so you can quickly take advantage of the coverage.
Have a soft focus so that they can download the information prior to the catch. The X4 is sitting back and they are the person providing the help, so no other option will be open, so it's catch and shoot. Most likely X4 will play them a little bit, and once they commit to playing them a little bit and they are not the help, that's all we need. We're not looking to take a contested jack on his face right now, all right? Just make him play him a little bit. Next option is quick swing to 2. If X2's late building out of their help responsibility on the pass, quick swing. And this is the first option because it needs to be quick. If it was later in the options, he would have already got himself back out. Next look is high-low to 3, and basically they're reading who can help, the single side tag defender. Is he helping? Is he helping? Is he not? If he's not, we hit the big on the rim. If he's in helping, we've got skip to the backside. And if nothing develops, it'll be boomerang back to the 1 for the rescreen, or if it's a big here, it's easy for them to go to second side wing pick and roll. And then we won't talk through it extensively, but what we would like you to recognize here is that other than the...
What does boomerang mean?
Like you start over?
Kind of. It's, I mean, essentially, but the boomerang word itself means it's going to go right back to from where it came. So you passed it somewhere, and boomerang means it goes right back to that person who passed it, so that you then can again start. Same ideas here. Okay, this is the elbow pick and roll or the top or middle pick and roll where we're coming off the screen to the 1 side front side, and now a 2 side back side. So if it's an aggressive coverage and you're passing to the 2 side high person, it is now behind you on the backside instead of in front of you. So it's just recognizing where your teammates are on the floor.
Messy pass now being a back pass as opposed to a front pass because the 2 high is now behind the ball, a 2 side backside as opposed to a 2 side front side. Everything else in this diagram is effectively the same. Ball to the middle, single side isolated, diagonal dive, extends the help. All right. One thing that happens a bit more with middle pick and roll versus shake is the short roll is a much more prevalent option here. And you can see that there's 2 arrows for the big, and that's because this first one is short roll because this pass and this pass are equally as good as each other. The pass up the guts on the short roll or the messy pass, they're both killer passes. So 5's going to offer that first, and then when he sees the ball leaving the fingertips on the messy pass, he completes his diagonal dive with 1-2 hard steps to the front of the rim. We'll see a number of clips here showing you the different.
So now we'll be watching some video clips and having Coach Coronel and myself talking you through it. This is definitely the time to ask questions so it's more clear.
Progressions of those options. First one, 23 gets off the ball a little bit late. All right, he gets off the ball a little bit late. We could be making a quick kickback.
Okay, so what is the setup? How many on the front side? Aggressive coverage.
One.
That's the first you see.
Side,
One
front
side,
side,
front side. Two side, back side. Okay.
Here, he dribbles over, but
So he could have hit him right away, who could have then hit him, but he decided to dribble over, and he still creates the same
ultimately
option.
finds the kickback.
Wait, how do you know if it's
This man
aggressive
here-
coverage or not?
Okay, really good question. So the aggressive or conservative is based on the defender of the screener. It's all based on that guy. So aggressive is anything that is basically parallel and level to the level of the screen and up. So if he is stepped back, this is a conservative coverage. So this would be like some drop situation, and we talk about the different options there. But generally, we want to pop those situations. But we'll look at that part later. But it's all about this guy. How is this defender of the screener guarding? Aggressive, even, and up, or drop back? So a switch will be considered aggressive, and we're going to attack it the same way and try to beat their rotation.
Okay.
All right, he gets off the ball a little bit late. We could be making a quick kickback here. He dribbles over, but he ultimately finds the kickback. This man here is sunk because he's playing in a jump, high hand position to take away the.
So it's always about who is helping. So this guy has dropped to take it away, which means the kickback who has filled up into one of our scoring areas. I'll show that again in a little bit, but into that slot area.
Get to the backside corner to buy time for the last man who's helping, but that leaves the kickback high unprotected, and he knows that he's wide open. He's already made that download with the soft focus, and so he can step right into a shot with rhythm and great force summation. Zipper here. Now they get very.
Okay. Talk to me.
Elbow, pick and roll, one side, front side, two side, back side.
Okay, good.
Preempt. They get very preemptive with their show. And so he goes to that quick kickback. And then as we spoke about, the quick kickback. And then the man in.
Okay, so he makes the pass. They've rotated up, and this guy is open to that quick extra pass. The roll wasn't open because this person has helped. The single tag has fully helped out, but now the quick pass is open here, and now we can start our dominoes. Open shot, open drive. That's the point of what we're trying to do.
And help, so it's quick swing.
Yep.
So that was also aggressive, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So look, yeah, it's all about the defender of the screener. And now, listen, there's lines of gray. It's not always 100% clear, but you still play through the same general ideas and concepts. Right now, he's at the level of the screen. So yes, when he's at the level of the screen, you're thinking, looking to roll diagonal. If he's dropped back,
quick kickback. And then the man in help, so it's quick swing, all right, and get that ball there as quick as possible because he's got to catch and shoot. It's exactly the same here from Doncic. Show high hands, diagonal dive. You can see by Porzingis extending this last help. Kick back, quick save. You can see by Porzingis here from Doncic.
So this is why it's so important. So the single tag is from this side right now as he's rolling. But as the ball gets moved to the two-side high player, the single tag is now the opposite side, so he would be out of position. And this guy has to rotate back over to the corner, otherwise it's an open shot.
Show high hands, diagonal dive. You can see by Porzingis extending this last help. Kick back, quick swing. This time they get the drive.
And realistically, this could be for a shot, it could be for one more, and it could be even for the player in the middle of the floor right now because he may be open depending on that closeout.
So the dominoes are falling. They're able to maximize this. This time here, all right, we're going to see elbow pick and roll. Very aggressive show. He doesn't even need to dribble, just straight messy pass. And now we can see that pass back as he's heading back out to his man, and Huertas here is reading the one man who can help, the single side tag defender. Is he helping? In this case, no, he is not. Ball on the rim.
Just as important, every subtle movement matters so much. So he was deep corner. As the ball got reversed, he had slid himself up just enough so that he could be an easier option on this pass, and makes him have to make that decision just a little bit more. But he doesn't go, so it's a layup.
This one here is out of shake, but you can see how between elbow and shake, other than the direction of the initial messy pass.
Okay, so reiterate that
this
point.
One here is out of
shake, pick and roll now. 2-side, front side, 1-side, back side. Everything stays the same.
A shake, but you can see how between elbow and shake, other than the direction of the initial messy pass, as opposed to back is front, everything else is the same. So front pass, all right, and now all the reads for this messy pass receiver are the same. Quick swing, he can see Dublovic is running at it. No, all right. So he's reading the single side tag. Is he helping? All right, he looks, kind of is. It's not great. All right, so he's delayed here, but what it does create is a great opportunity for the 5-man Poirier to get a seal. So sometimes it'll be an automatic pass like it happened here. This time, watching Poirier, 17, the 5-man. All right, he kind of sees there's not a huge advantage here. He starts slowing and making sure that he seals his man. So he knows this guy's going to recover onto him, but he makes sure that he seals him so the recovery is bad, and then it's a phenomenal seal and just completely buries him and gets a catch, foot in the charge circle.
I think that's something that can often be personnel dependent. Like when you have a roller who has a massive size advantage and size and strength. I mean, years ago you saw with Nikola Pekovic played for the Timberwolves and Panathinaikos. Like he rolling them so that they can get the angle of the seal in the paint. Whereas with other guys that maybe they continue their roll all the way down to the dunker spot. And they don't clog up that area in the middle of the paint. But in that situation, it fits perfectly with personnel and situation.
Once again here, this one's a shake, but you'll see once the ball's made the messy pass, and we talked about, this is a very good example of the accuracy of this pass.
And notice the position he's in. He was in the wing, filled himself up to one of our scoring spots, which is also one of our passing playmaking spots.
Thrown it, and it's landed in front. It's leading Voigtman into his vision of the floor, and it's basically a chest height reception so that he's in a pretty good position to either shoot off this, but it's leading pretty quickly into his overhead. He's reading. All right, is this man helping? Yes, he is. They probably could extend this a little bit more diagonal, and then money pass to the pocket on the skip. The accuracy of the passing and player development, you'll see time and time again throughout these clips how critical it is. Same thing again here. All right, kick back, off elbow, pick and roll, reading, and now he's reading, he's in, probably over helping because this is a pretty good recovery, but skip is on and dominoes are falling. This one here is a good example of, one, how important it is that the player development skills are executed well. All right, Zalgiris, very, very good team. But in this instance, you can see how everything was about to open up. The advantage was there, but the pass is behind. It's inaccurate. He has to turn away. He bobbles the pass, and they lose the advantage. But this is one thing that you want to train your team to be very good if you want them to be a tactical team, is what we call a reignition. So they lost the advantage because of a record scratch. All right, the music was playing, and then, all right, bad pass, stopped. Okay, they've got to reignite. So you'll see boomerang straight back to their best pick and roll player on the floor, 5-man right back up. All right, one of the things they do know now is they've got quite a good idea that there's a show coming. bang, and they just
so
go
that would
straight
be
back into they punish the show.
use the free throw line when he screened him.
Question, say again.
Wouldn't that? Never mind. I thought it was
Be conservative.
It looks aggressive now. I thought it was
Yeah,
conservative
so-
with this frame. He's still back
So
there.
that's why we want to create as much space as we can between the screener and your defender. So that if it is an aggressive coverage, which they know it's aggressive now because they just saw the first one, so they know they have a pretty good idea he's going to be coming out hard. When he's that late, it puts them under so much pressure to get there. Now every pass is that much more open. But yes, in a vacuum, if this guy were stopping in here, then it would be a conservative coverage.
Okay.
Show coming, bang, and they just go straight back into their punish the show coverage solution.
And now this is so important. It's the first time we've seen this one, but on our rolls or our messy pass that gets it to the roll, catching in a jump stop so you can then make the decision and see what's going on. We're not traveling. We're not going out of control. If you catch it here and there's no one on you, you score. If you catch it and your man has stepped up to help, our corner person is now following that guy and cutting behind him for a layup, while the other player is cutting himself to the corner, and someone is always going to be open.
Short roll, cut and slide, which we'll cover on the next little thing. So you can see there, if you do have the inaccurate passing, you'll lose the advantage. If you ever lose the advantage, you've got to very efficiently within the shot clock, reignition.
And then a quick point here. Based on the players in our program and how we all have a very good skill set and IQ, everyone has to be able to make all of these decisions. When we put together an offense for next year, it's not going to be about one or two people being the screeners all the time. It's going to be about everyone being in positions to screen and make those reads off rolls, and everyone having to make the decisions coming off the screen. So everyone's got to be able to see and make the passes. And that's why all five need to be engaged in exactly what's going on at all times.
Short roll, all right. You can very quickly look at that diagram. If you need to pause later, if you're watching it in delay, you can make more notes. But
it's the one we just saw, right? Comes off the screen, short rolls it, gets it to him here, catches on a jump stop, and then you just make the read. No one on you, score, overhump from the bottom, layup, overhump from the other side, kick out.
brevity of time, we'll just show the video clips on this. All right, so the first one on short roll is that the big, obviously he's got to read on the catch. So footwork is very, very critical. So you can see here, you want to basically maintain vision of the ball on short rolls. So this becomes the traditional roll as opposed to a dive. So he's going to pivot on this right foot and drop this left foot, keeping his chest wide to the ball, and he's going to use back out, reversing his direction to get the great separation. When he catches, all right, really, this is obviously a little different because they bounce pass it to him, but he wants to jump stop on this catch because very often there will be someone lining him up for a charge. In this instance, the balls are not particularly help oriented, and if that's the case, when they jump stop, they catch, they turn, they don't see anyone there, no last man, the big needs to be prepared to go in and power it home. This one here, once again, you'll see Tomic with very good footwork up in here. He jump stops because this is what's going to happen, right? This last man, a lot of times, is a little guard. He knows he's in trouble if this pass is completed, and he runs in and tries to take away the landing zone for the five man. And instead of it being a great play for us, it becomes an offensive foul, turnover, and your five man just got a personal foul. Jump stop, and obviously his reads are generally the two side. So once he makes the catch, the last help is in. And what we're trying to create, obviously, is that one can't guard two on this back side. And obviously, because Singleton was offering the messy pass and his defender went with it, he's completely eliminated. And now this cut, cued by the short roll pass, helps to make sure that 2 can't guard 1. He's able to roll down, obviously spectacular finish.
Okay, so we have a few more minutes on this video that we're going to finish tomorrow. And then from there, we're going to watch just different examples of pick and rolls and try to diagnose the plays and the right plays. As you guys can see, it's not overly complex, but it's just knowing what you're looking for at all times. And if all 5 players on the floor know what they're looking for and know how to attack the defense, you're going to create open shots consistently. Okay, you're taking advantage of what teams are doing to defend you, because teams will be taught how to defend the action, and then whichever they're doing, you're going to have an answer ready for it. So that's something we're going to emphasize this and really work on this stuff. And again, then it's in your hands. You guys are making the decisions, and that's a fun way to play. Questions, think about them for tomorrow. And again, keep asking them. The questions are great because I'm sure everyone has them. I will get you the link. Okay, so a reminder of our scoring bases. And you can see in our ball screen situations, we end up getting ourselves always into these spots. So okay, so if we have a ball screen happening on this side of the floor and it's aggressive like we've been working on, our player who was in the wing can sprint to the next scoring spot. Scoring bases, it's kind of like baseball, sprinting between one base to the next base in any situation. Questions that you had from yesterday before we get into the rest of the video? So again, we have our 2 side and our 1 side based on what direction we're facing. So this is a 2 side front side, 1 side back side right now. Remember, shake pick and roll is this alignment when we've got a 2 side front side and a 1 side back side. And we're not really talking about wing right now, but elbow or top or middle pick and roll when we're attacking a 1 side front side and a 2 side back side. Okay, so again, there's always an answer to attack the defense. We'll get into our video. Okay.
See, this time it's off of shake. So off of shake, but shake, you won't get as many short rolls.
So again, reminding, we are looking at attacking the coverage no matter what it is. And right now, all these coverages are aggressive. Aggressive is anytime it's at the screen level with the screener, or above. Okay, so any type of a hedge, any type of a switch, any type of that type of aggressive movement. And the alternative would be conservative, aggressive, conservative. That's the first read everyone has to make. If it's conservative, the defender of the screener, conservative is where that defender is back, okay, and not trying to get forward. So on an aggressive coverage, someone talk me through the reads. Will, give me the first thing. You see an aggressive coverage. As a team, what needs to happen? Kosan. Aggressive, the first read on aggressive is
you look for the high 2.
Yes, the high 2. So if you can't squeeze it through on a short roll yourself, we know this player, he sees aggressive coverage too. He is sprinting himself into the next scoring base. So that pass, what was the name of the pass? Anyone remember?
Messy pass.
Messy pass, right? That quick pass right away so that we can keep the advantage on our diagonal roll. the first thing we're looking to. Hit the top.
It's more difficult, but it's exactly the same idea. The two-side low.
And now once we get it here, also so importantly, everyone needs to know what's going on. It's all about reading the defense, catching the ball on a jump stop in the middle of the court, and then who has helped and who is open. If this player has stepped up, we're cutting behind for a layup. And this is very important. It's a subtle point. You're thinking about anytime you see the back of your man's head, you're trying to cut behind. But right now he's in position, then he moves. And as he moves, you're trying to move with him to get in position. Because if you wait until he's all the way up here, your cut will be too late. So he moves too far, you cut behind. And when he cuts behind, the player who was on the wing or who got up to the scoring base looked to do. He cuts and he slides to the corner. What's the principle about this? Why? Why do we have that movement in action?
Because the defender has to choose two.
Right. Remember the concept, don't let one guy be able to play two. Both guys stand, he might be able to, but if we cut and slide, impossible.
His man's left to help, string cut, cut and slide following in, and ideally this man's sliding to separate the recoveries and rotations. You see slight there. This one here, similar idea. You'll see this time here, here's the cut coming. Similar idea, slight there.
So this one, we have a, see if I can stop it at the right time.
Slight there.
Choppy video is annoying. Okay. Elbow pick and roll, middle pick and roll. One side, front side, two side, back side. So if it's aggressive, like it is, you can't make the short roll. Teammate is coming up and he's available. Now, we're all reading each other. So if a player rolls here, this screener rolls. He wants to sprint up into that spot to lift behind it. What if he popped? Maybe he made the wrong read or maybe it was conservative. And this screener who just set a screen here, instead of rolling, he pops. This player is on the wing. This player has just popped out here. What should happen if we're reading each other and making decisions off those reads?
You should space the floor, right?
So he's already as spaced as he can be. So this guy, let's say it's right before the screen happened, right? He's on the wing. We have corner wing filled. Screener is popping to that slot-ish area after his screen.
He should cut.
He should cut, right? So one guy pops. Now he's taking that space. He should be cutting in to look for himself to score or to create openings and advantages. We'll see more of that later, just to be thinking about it because everyone's working off each other.
This one here, similar idea. You'll see this time here, here's the cut coming. It's not as quite as good a technical, probably precision with this, and they kind of get turned away a little bit. It buys a little bit of time for Gran Canaria to get down and take away this cutter. And this is where the slide man. Now, one of the reasons that, we want to promote the slide is just probably for the future. At the moment, with this cut and slide, mostly you'll see teams either get the cut or they'll get this 45 kick out. But as teams get better at realizing that they can't allow this man here to try to guard two people, you're going to see more and more teams start sending one of the two defenders involved in the screen to the 45. So as this progresses, they're trying to run their show back to the big. He's already been marked by this person. This person's running to him. If he runs there, they now have 3-on-2. All right, so basically you're going to start seeing more and more teams sending this person here or send the guard there. And when that becomes the case, obviously this man sliding extends the separation from the show to him sliding towards the corner. So that's trying to put you ahead of the game for the coming adjustments and learnings. And this, at the moment, that's sufficient separation. See Huertas here, it doesn't always have to be cut and slide. Sometimes these guys both hold. That could be because this person's on a very low help, and so there's nowhere really to cut behind him. It might be personnel dependent. They're both very, very high level shooters. Sometimes it is a little bit easier for two to play one if they both spot up.
So does that make sense why the corner guy isn't cutting here? There's not really an angle for him to get there. The help is low. One thing you always want to be is an opportunistic cutter. Okay, so for the varsity this year, we did a little bit too much screening in these situations, but you really want to be someone who is looking for any opportunity to cut. Because if you can cut into space or behind your man, you've usually got a free layup or you've pulled defense to create an open shot for somebody else.
You see that they are forced into having to make an additional pass because of this, but two good shooters there, they get it done.
Okay, so we talked, just as a reminder from the past couple of days, what does the screener and the ball handler, what do they want to do pre-screen, before the screen happens?
Arrive alone.
Arrive alone, right? And we talked about different ways to do it. So it could just be the screener going slow one direction and sprinting into it, changing speeds. He could change his direction. He could cut if there's an overplay, or there could be some sort of action happening on the court, right? So I think this came off of a zipper cut and he came up to catch it. There could be screens to start all these actions. Those could be play dependent, but the idea is to make that screen as much separation as possible and force the defense to not be in position. Ball handler looking to do what when they can on their initial setups? This is not a great example, but if a screen is coming, you're trying to reject your screen whenever possible, right? And if you can't reject it, then you're in good position to come off on your separation. So always looking for that option.
And obviously sometimes this goes back out to the high man off this kick out. And obviously sometimes
catching in the middle on a jump stop can see everything. Someone's going to be open, probably a situation we'd like him to cut, because I'd rather score at the rim and get a layup first and have the kick out be second.
Goes back out to the high man off this kick out.
So much of that is just these little like one can't guard two principles as rule number 2 of Dominoes that we talk about, and just all the little slides, the cuts. When you're in rotation, you're trying to put a defender in a position where he can defend too. And these little adjustments make that an impossible situation for the defense.
That makes sense. The subtlety of it, it's not always huge movements, but these little adjustments on the court just to make it harder for the one guy to guard two once we've created a domino situation. Okay, so questions here. Just so we've gone over some of the general ideas and concepts. We've watched some of the coaches talk through how they teach some of the details of it. Any questions now before we start watching just some other examples of pick and rolls, teams running action?
So, Coach, you're saying the first read on the screen is to try and reject it?
Yes, I'll show you. I will show you. Stop the share. Yes. So, for example, can we see screen coming to you? Let's just say we're looking at a shake situation right now. Two side, front side, one side, back side. So screener is doing his job to set himself up to come to the screen alone. You're doing the same. And when you're doing that setup, you're looking for an opportunity to reject that screen. Because if the defense is here ready to hedge out, going this direction, you can reject your man and get around him. There is now no help on the screen, and you've already gotten into dominoes. So that's even before using the screen to create dominoes. But rejecting is very important. And now, if you tried to reject and you didn't get there, right? You didn't have an opening to attack. If you bump it out, now you've created that separation and you're going to be arriving alone at that screen. So always looking to reject. Reject, and then if it's not there, you're bumped it out, back into it.
Thanks.
Could you guys see that when I drew it? Because I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can't, just let me know. Okay, let's watch some examples. Try to diagnose more situations, and we'll see some different situations now. Okay, so this first one, two side, front side execution. Okay, so before we even come off here, just to reiterate that point, if this screen is rejected and you're getting into this space, then now it is dominoes created and someone's going to have to overhelp, and then it's just about not letting two play one. Okay, with the come off, aggressive coverage, pass ahead to the two side, to the middle, hit the middle, make the read. Let it play through. Aggressive coverage. Now, what's Ginobili not doing a great job of?
Coming off shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder, right? Because if, I'm not sure who's guarding him right now, but if his defender is using his brain at all, he just steps into that space and now there is no screen, there's no need for a hedge, no advantage created. Okay, so we want to look to set that up to come off and get shoulder to shoulder. And actually, this is a good point to talk about it. We haven't mentioned this yet, but we ultimately want to make your defender go over every screen. So when you're screening, something that's a new concept for us, it makes a lot of sense. You want to set the screen with your chest on the screener's back shoulder. So the terminology is going to be sternum, which is the middle of your chest.
You're cutting out for me.
All right. How
You're
are we
cutting
now?
out a lot, Coach.
Okay. Let's see. And how are we doing now? Still cutting out?
No, now it's good.
No.
Okay. So when you set the screen, you want to have your sternum, your chest, on the screener's back shoulder. So sternum to scapula are the two medical terms for it. Sternum to scapula. So that you have an angle so that it's very difficult for the defender to go underneath. Okay, just something to keep in mind. Most of these screens won't have that, but it's something to be thinking about. Why is Boris Diaw not cutting here?
His man was playing close to the baseline.
Yep, there's really no angle to cut. Okay, just reading the situations and you have an open shot, or dominoes is created. Okay, first time we're seeing an example like this. Screen set. We want to force him to go over everything. So if he goes under, we need to reset that screen, hopefully with a better angle, so that he has to go over. And once they go over, now every read becomes the same. So perfect, went over. His defender's out of position, so he's able to get downhill. Would you consider this an aggressive or conservative coverage?
Conservative.
Conservative. Okay, so now not everything is equal. So we said there are lines of gray. Sometimes you're not sure, so you make a decision, and then we just continue to play through it. 244 here, probably not a shooter. So he's not going to be someone who is popping. So he's rim rolling regardless. And we can still play through it. We prefer him pop. If he pops into this space, what do we have? One defender to guard two, right? And then we're just making all those reads. But here we attack. He gets himself behind. The corner player has lifted up. For what reason? Who is he isolating?
His defender so that the big could get in there by himself.
Correct. And this guy is the single side tag. Remember, it would be his job to tag a roll. And if he doesn't do it, it's open. And if he does, then the lift is open. So if he pops to the wing, is this player still lifting?
No.
No, right? Because it's just about reading space. He pops, you're holding corner, ready to cut if your man overplays, or ready for another pass, or ready to play through to the next thing, whatever it is. If he rolls it, you're looking to lift those subtle movements to make his job that much more difficult. Okay, so another situation, goes underneath, doesn't have a great angle. If his sternum were on his scapula, then he'd be getting downhill here. But because it's upset that high in the wrong direction, he can easily get under. And then they've set the rescreen. And now it's all the reads we want. So now it's a two-side, front-side, conservative coverage. If you're a shooter, you're going to pop. You think you have a chance to get behind him. That's fine. This guy is reading who? Man, the single side tag, the help guy. Opportunistic cutters, right? His man can't see him. He's the one who gets the layup here. 5 players need to be involved. And if they are and they're all engaged, there's always going to be an opening. Okay, so screening situation. 2-side, front side, 1-side, back side, conservative or aggressive?
Conservative.
Looks more conservative, right? But again, you play through either or. So I'm probably thinking I'm popping here, getting an open shot and forcing this guy to play 2 of us. Ibaka's going to roll it. And this is actually pretty close to conservative or aggressive. So that's why there's those lines of gray. So he can really do either here, and then we have to make those reads about it. Looking for the short roll, probably hitting the 2-side. Who could hit him if he rolls it? But because he has rolled, the backside lifts, making it impossible for the single tag to guard both of them. So now we have a closeout. He's late. Dominoes initiated, and then we're just finding the right shot. Okay, screen coming late. So he's getting ready to come off, make the read. This isn't, again, a next level pass, but part of the thing you want to think about as a player, you're reading things on the initial side, the initial action, but also on the weak side. If someone's going to overhelp early, bullet pass it to start dominoes like that. Has this defender moving the wrong way, and now we're into dominoes, whether it's a shot or a drive, close out, good things are going to happen. Again, it does not look like he's going to throw there. If you're looking at him, you're looking at what's going on, and all of a sudden, boom. Now he is an elite level passer. There's no reason why we can't be seeing some of those passes too. Okay, 2-side, front side. He's DeAndre Jordan, non-shooter, could certainly pop it and have an advantage, but he's going to go behind, get behind his defender, make it difficult for him to help. He's going to lift up. What gets DeAndre Jordan open?
His eyes.
His eyes. The eyes tell lies. He knows what his looks are. He knows what the tag's job is. He has 2 decisions. He has to make one. He looks him off one way. He goes up, gets himself a layup. Eyes tell lies. Okay, he goes under. What are we doing?
Rescreen.
Rescreen. He's coming off looking hard to attack, and if he can't, now he's bumping it out so that he has a good angle to come off the next way. Okay, if he can shoot behind it right away, great. If not, get to the other side of it so that this guy has to cover ground, and then we get him with another screen. So rescreen and then twist. Twist is the word that we want to use. Twist, 2-side, front side, 1-side, back side again. So another shake situation. Making the read. Wasn't really open, not a ton of space. The lift has an advantage, and this guy continues his roll and now has good position to post up, or we have the dominoes on the closeout. Number 12, what is he looking to do? Be opportunistic, right? He sees his man. He's looking for an opportunity. Didn't have it. Other stuff happened. Got himself back out again. Okay, aggressive or conservative?
Conservative.
Conservative.
Okay, so finally we have a situation where we have a shooter. So this shooter pops, and then this guy has to make a decision. If he stays, the shooter is open here. Players in the corner, 2 to guard 1. He could pop. That's an open shot. He sprints out. We're cutting behind for a layup. We're making a quick one more. Or he gets it on the wing. No shot, no drive. We want to keep the ball moving. He can pass to the next guy and screen it. He can dribble handoff. He can pass the screen away. Just options of offense. But in this situation, this guy is so worried about the shooter that he heads back. As he hesitates, he gets himself to the rim. And notice the corner guy looking for an opportunity to cut again. This is why it's so important that everyone can be a screener and a player with the ball, so we all can make these decisions. Okay, so they created the separation off of a zipper rub screen. He catches it. 1 side, front side, 2 side, back side. He decides to pop it. Probably could have done either. Pop it. 1 guy to play 2. And then you're just playing basketball, making the right reads, spacing yourself away, getting into space. And they have an open shot or a hard, long closeout in which dominoes are going to be created. Okay, this one's slightly different. We haven't really looked at anything like this. Step up screen coming from below to step up into the screen here. We have a 3 side backside this time. Doesn't happen often, but in transition it certainly can. Okay, he gets him to go over. Now, conservative or aggressive?
Conservative.
Conservative. He probably wants to pop it, but maybe he realizes we already have a 3 side top side. If he pops it, what's this player going to need to do?
Diagonal cut.
Diagonal cut, right, to open the space. Okay, and then we have optional cut in the weak side based on what's going on. If he rolls it, now you're just looking at who is helping. Who is helping? So he may be open, but this guy is over helping to the ball, and he skips it across to the corner, open shot, and closeout situation. Let's watch one more before we go to our speed workout. Some more Luka stuff.
Here's a short spread ball screen clinic featuring game footage of Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. The first concept, owning the middle. Here Luka accepts the high ball screen.
What's up everybody, I'm Ikaika and these are the banks. The banks are a staple.
With the Mavericks in spread ball screen spacing. Instead of driving
2 side front side, 1 side back side.
Wide, Luka gets his inside
dropping back, he's rolling hard, and now we're making reads. Who's helping, who's not? It's a conservative coverage, so can we put pressure on the defense, which is what he does
Lonzo
here.
Ball.
No one stops him. 2-on-1 at the basket. If someone overhelps, you're making kickouts to whoever is available.
Instead of driving wide, Luka gets his inside shoulder into Lonzo Ball and owns the middle of the floor when driving. Mavs use another high ball screen with spread
1 side front side, 2 side back side, elbow
ball screen spacing to create for Luka.
Sternum to scapula, his back of his shoulder. Very hard
Luka once again owns the middle. This
different situation, but you see an advantage as a ball handler and a playmaker, get into it. You don't always have to follow the exact script.
Time by splitting the ball screen defense with the crossover.
So that's the same as if we had rolled into the spot and got it there. Now it's the same read. Score, kick out, cuts for layups.
next concept, the pocket pass. Same spread ball screen by Maxi Kleber for Luka. On the double side, the Mavs have Seth Curry.
Okay, so drop, or it's a conservative coverage. So if he pops, he's open, and then it's advantage situations, making the right reads. Conservative, so we're attacking, but he decides to roll it, non-shooter.
Kristaps Porzingis holding the sideline. Luka's ability to pass diagonally, combined with the shooting ability of Curry and KP, open the middle for Kleber's roll, and Luka delivers a pocket pass through the pocket of.
How should he catch this? Like this on a 1-2 run?
Jump stop.
Ideally, a jump stop so that you can see all your decisions and you're under control, so this doesn't become a charge. Kick out, layup, options available everywhere.
Created by the ball screen. Our next concept, back action. From sideline out of bounds, the Mavs flow into spread ball screen for Luka. Justin Jackson is the first man behind the screen, so he is on back action.
Okay, so he could pop here, conservative coverage. However, if he rolls it, what should he be thinking to do?
Get up to the slot.
Yep, get up into that shooting spot in the slot. So now he's ready to score and he's ready to pass and make that next pass.
Brandon Ingram tags Kleber's roll. Luka delivers the throwback to Jackson, and the Pels are hoping to X out with ball going to Jackson.
Who is helping? Always the question. This guy over helping? He's the one that's open.
Jackson and Ingram taking the one more pass to the corner, but they can't get there on time. More back action as the Mavs set the drag ball screen in transition for Luka. Curry is on.
So it looks more like an aggressive coverage. So ideally you're hitting the two-side high, but there was an action happening here. Sometimes that's going to happen. You know you've got your weak side lift.
Back action behind the screen. As Kleber rolls, Luka uses his eyes to move the tag man back to Curry.
The eyes tell lies. Manipulates this guy with your eyes because you know what they're trying to do.
Then whips a beautiful no-look into Kleber.
Okay, so we're seeing all these different advantages. Ways that we can attack it. Tomorrow we'll look at some more videos. Again, come with questions. Romy had a good question. If you want to reject a screen, does that depend on whether it's a conservative coverage or aggressive coverage? No, either way, you want to look to reject so that you can create that advantage for yourself. Okay, and then if you can do that, then it's just about creating those dominoes from there. All right, let me get. So I want questions, if you have any, before we start, because we're just going to be looking at different video examples. If there's anything you want reiterated. Scoring bases, we started to see those on the court in different ball screen actions and how you get in and get out, and you're always looking to sprint to one and then sprint to the other if you don't have it. Terminology, we know we have our shake, pick and roll. And in this situation, it's a two-side front side, one side back side. Our elbow pick and roll, attacking a one side front side with a two side back side. Everything stays the same on our reads, except it's a back side we're looking instead of a front side. And the different coverage options. So we have aggressive coverages, in which case we're looking to hit the two-side front side who's stepping to the ball in a scoring position on our diagonal roll. And we have conservative coverages, where instead of rolling, we pop. Conservative, all being reading the defender of the screener. And we simplified into two options so that it's easy to make a decision. It's one or the other. It's A or it's B. Because there's all different subtleties within all these things, but if we get into too much thinking, then you guys can't react in the court. So it's everyone making the first quick read and then playing from there. So that's why we try to make it aggressive or conservative. George, you're going to be confused in a lot of this stuff, but pay attention best you can, and then don't be afraid to ask questions too. Okay, so let's get into more video examples. We watched the Luka ones yesterday. We'll watch the last few again just to see.
Brandon Ingram tags Kleba's roll. Luka delivers the throwback to Jackson, and the Pels are hoping to X out with ball going to Jackson and Ingram taking the one more pass.
And here it's a shot situation, or at the very worst, Dominoes has started for the one more or the drive or whoever is open.
To the corner, but they can't get there on time. More back action as the Mavs set the drag ball screen in transition for Luka. Curry is on back action behind the screen. As Kleba rolls, Luka uses his eyes to move the tag man back to Curry.
The eyes tell lies. That's one to remember. Using your eyes gets people open.
Then whips a beautiful no-look into Kleba.
Okay, some more Luka situations. Is the screen big enough for everyone, or should I go full screen?
It's big enough.
Yeah, it's good like this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Some more Luka. So we have a screen. Notice the angle. We only mentioned it quickly yesterday. Do you remember the term that we're trying to use for thinking about how you want to set your screen at what angle?
Sternum to scapula.
Right, sternum to scapula. So remember, the sternum is the middle of your chest, and the scapula is the back of the shoulder, right behind. So that's how you can get your angle. You're trying to get sternum to scapula and creating as much space as possible. So, conservative or aggressive?
Conservative.
Conservative. Okay, so obviously, if you're a shooter, you're looking to pop, but it can also be a race to the rim, getting behind this guy. Also, what does Luka potentially have if he's coming downhill here?
A shot.
A shot. Okay, so if we can set screens high against aggressive defenders, this is not a bad shot to work on, right? You have an advantage, get to the three-point line, it's an open three off the dribble. And if they have to really worry about you, then he has to be more aggressive and things open up even more. This shot off the dribble is better than this shot off the dribble. Someone tell me why.
Isn't it because everyone collapses down?
Well, the answer I was thinking was 3 points is more than 2 points, keeping it simple.
Oh, okay.
But
well,
if you do attack this space, you're pulling defense and you're trying to make the next play, which is what Luka, I think, will do here. Gets into the gap, pulls defense. We see the player on the weak side of the floor being an opportunistic cutter. Sees his man's head, he's trying to get behind it. Realizing it's not there, so he's got to sprint back out to space. Okay, what type of a ball screen situation?
Elbow.
Elbow with a?
One side, front side, two side, back.
Okay, so it looks like in between conservative and aggressive, but Luka, because he sees the whole floor, takes advantage of an over-helping player down here, and realistically, he had both guys over-helping. So no, it's always about who is helping. Who is helping, find that guy. If these guys helping too much, kick out for open shots. If these guys are stepped out too much, then we're making all the reads on the inside. Who is helping? Domino started. Shot, close out, and we have all the options now. Okay, same situation. One side, front side, two side, back side. Probably conservative coverage, not even with the screen, but again, it's all about making the reads. So if this guy popped it into this scoring base, what would the wing player do?
Diagonal cut.
Probably diagonal cut. If you're looking to score and then didn't get it, he would get himself back out again. But he rolls, so what does the guy behind him do? Fills behind. fills behind, right, to that next scoring base, so he is an option. Into the scoring base, out to the scoring base. Who is helping? He's rolling, trying to put pressure on the rim. And now an incredible pass. Domino started. It's an incredible pass, but if we can see it, that's a pass we can practice. And before we go further, we've worked on our handle. We all know to work on our shot. What do all of these clips highlight? Not just Luka's amazing passes, but even just the regular passes. What skill is so important to have?
Vision.
Vision is one, and passing is the other. So those two combined. The technical ability to make the passes, and then the vision to be able to see it, the tactical sense of where to go with the ball. So those skills are as important as anything else. And it's not something we really work on. We're working in small little individual workouts, but we should definitely try to add those as much as we can. One side, front side, two side, back side. So aggressive or conservative? Even with the screen, probably aggressive, right? Anything even, we're going to say is aggressive. So because he can roll and get behind him and force people to help. So in an aggressive situation like that, he rolls it, looks for the short roll, doesn't have it. We're thinking of playing the two side, high side. If this guy's in the scoring base and we hit him, now we have the diagonal roll across the lane, isolated in a single tag. Okay. Now, there are some subtleties within all these things. What if this one side player saw he was in trouble, he wasn't turning the corner, he wasn't dribbling over? Could he potentially pop himself up quickly to make that first messy pass? Absolutely. He could make a read there. And then if it didn't come right away and the pass wasn't made to him, where would he relocate to? Back to his spot in the corner. So there is some push-pull. But because we're watching Doncic crazy passes, he makes the one-hand skip across the defense, and again, for a shot, or now we have an opportunity to attack. Those weak side passes are so dangerous. Okay, aggressive coverage. Now it's not clear what the two side is, but we have a roll this way. Backside guy would be coming up. Front side guy could be making himself available. He could hit this guy right here, coming into the scoring base, and then he has the angle to make the pass. Or he dribbles over, and he can still make all the reads, which is what he does here. Who's he throwing it to? Which guy?
Corner.
Nope. The eyes tell lies, right? That's who he's looking at. Pulls that defender just enough. The eyes tell lies. So again, different situation, how they get into it. Eyes are here. Tag takes a step the wrong way. Right into the player in the middle. Catching on a jump stop, ready to score, or potentially make the next pass, whoever's open. Okay, so not clean two side, front side, but you know you have a one side, back side if you're the player here. So if there's a screen and a roll, you need to lift into the place behind, sprint to the next scoring base, make that guy's job difficult. Conservative or aggressive coverage?
Conservative. Conservative.
Yep, definitely. Now, if this is a shooter, I'm popping into this space. He's holding his spot, looking to be a cutter if he can, or he's holding the space to make 2-play-1. But because he's not a shooter or a playmaker, he is a roll guy every time for this team. So he's trying to get behind this guy as fast as he can. Coming off the screen. If not for your quick rollback, you're getting in there, trying to figure out who is helping. Okay, so he's helping, but not really. Lob over the top. So this is a skill we're going to work on. Obviously, we are not lobbing for dunks, okay? However, we can put the ball up in the air and be able to catch it in the air and finish off the backboard. Okay, there's no reason we can't be making the same plays. And would a bounce pass get through here? Very unlikely. There's just so many hands down there. It's very unlikely to get there. Even though a bounce pass 9 times out of 10 will work, on these pick and roll situation, it's very difficult. So why not lob it to the rim, catch and finish? Hopefully that's banned on a dunk next year.
Yes, coach.
Okay, so this is a good example for just other ways to create space. Now this is a set play, but this could happen in the flow of the offense. He sets a back screen, and what does his man do? He shows, doesn't want to give up a layup. That creates a ton of space. Arrive alone. Look at that space. So now whatever they were going to do, however they were going to defend it, now they're probably in the wrong positions. So 2 side or 1 side front side, 2 side back side. Looks like conservative. He could be popping now. And if he pops to this area, what's this player doing?
Filling.
This player would be cutting.
Oh, yeah.
So if he popped into here, we don't want 2 guys in the same spots or 2 close spots. So that would be an automatic cut to create that space. And he may be open coming through the lane himself. Now, because it's Luka, who's helping? No one really helping from the perimeter. No one helping from the perimeter. So now it's just a 2-on-1 at the rim. He's patient. He doesn't force anything. And obviously a nice pass, but you're just reading the defense. Who's helping? Not helping, not helping, not helping. This is the only guy. It's a lay print or a block, but the play was right. Okay, just another patient pass. So conservative coverage. If he pops, now we're putting the defense in a very difficult situation. But again, not a shooter, made a different read. That's fine. We can play through it. Because he rolled, he's going to fill up into the next shooting spot, extending that guy. And then it's just making the right play. Under control, seeing everybody, and here comes your player open. Subtle point here. You want the ball to be able to see you if you are a shooter anywhere on the court. So if we are in between all these defenders, the ball cannot see him. Does that make sense? So for him to get himself open, he needs to move slightly. So these subtle movements can be so important. And it makes him have to worry just one step, and he takes one step wrong, and that's why they have a basket at the rim. Okay, so however they get into the action, not overly important. Gets there. We have 2 side backside, 1 side front side, aggressive coverage. So his reads are what first?
Messy pass.
So in this situation, in the 2 side backside, in the elbow pick and roll, the short roll and the messy pass are equal effectiveness. So if the short roll pass, the one right in between here, whether a bounce or a little over the top pass is open, that gets the ball into the court, in the middle of the court, just as quick as it would if we hit the 2 side backside into that player. So we're giving both looks very quickly. Now it gets into this spot, and then it's all just about who's helping. Not a ton of space there. I don't really love it. I'd probably prefer playing the 2 side backside, or who is helping right now? This player here who is guarding the corner player. Okay, everyone see that? So he is way over helping. So what could this player do while this is happening?
Back cut.
Potentially back cut over the top. And you see this in the NBA a lot, these lobs in the backside in a pick and roll situation. Now, if he made his back cut behind him and didn't get it, probably pop himself back out. Or, as that guy got the ball, he might be in position to score already. Or we see who helps here. This guy over helps, we'll take an open shot. Wasn't the perfect decision, but dominoes are happening right now, and it's just making the right play. And even when it's not perfect, it becomes perfect if you keep moving it the right way. Okay, so this is a defensive clip, but we can watch the ball side piece of it. Aggressive coverage, right? Looking to short roll. That's a very difficult pass because they did a really good job being super aggressive. So what's the pass right here? What needs to happen? Rolls it, fills it, back pass into the middle. Now we've got our 3-on-2, and they are done for if we can make the right decision. But doesn't recognize, over dribbles, out of position, and now when we look to get it, it's too late, and we're in trouble. But pretty good defense on them, being very, very aggressive. However, the whole point of knowing what to do in any situation, okay, aggressive coverage, automatically everyone's head is in the same place, so we don't have to make any mistakes. We know aggressive, I'm turning around, that's my 2-side, I pass it in for an open shot or the quick one more, and we have our dominoes. Whatever they do, there is an answer, and we're trying to simplify so we have an answer every single time. Okay, aggressive coverage, even with the screen. Roll pop situation, should be a roll. He rolls it, he pops it. Now, we said we want to hit the 2-side high guy. However, corner player made a read that he could get into position. And now the diagonal roll is this direction. And then you just read who's helping. So who's helping on the roll right now? The top player. So who's going to be open? His man. It's as simple as that. Who's helping? Who's open? So reminder, had he popped it, what would he do? Cut, looking to score, and get it, sprint to the next scoring base, wherever it is. Not great quality, but I think we can all see enough of it. So this is a set call, but it's no different than the concepts that we're trying to build, right? Aggressive coverage. So Andrew asked the other day, when can you slip? If you know your defender is being extra aggressive, once he gets to the high side of you, that's a good time to leave because now you're putting them in a difficult situation. Aggressive coverage, we want to hit the 2-side high. Now this is a shake pick and roll situation because we have the 2-side front side. Ball immediately goes in the player in this position who has the diagonal roll. There, and now who's helping? Normally the corner would help, but because it's Klay Thompson, they don't help. So easy layup, foul. Okay, shake, pick and roll situation. Aggressive coverage. Again, this is a call, but 2-side, high side. Again, full speed. Boom, boom, layup, because they don't help on the weak side. Now, I want to refresh that one. So NBA defense is different in some ways because for us, high school, most college teams, this person is always going to help. This is the single side tag, right? So teams are going to teach him to take away the layup, which then means we have a skip for an open shot. or we passed it into this guy who then has his teammate cutting for a layup. That example we've seen a few times. We'll see a few more times before we finish. Okay, so aggressive coverage, decides to pop it, or just in between a pop and a roll. Let's rewind again. So the point of this one, what's the point of this one? Okay, so this is the point. We don't need to force. So there's a ball screen action. Didn't really have anything. The spacing was kind of messed up. They didn't have to force off the first one because they were able to create another one coming. And now we have all the reads we want. So decides to roll it, get behind him, lifting this direction, or just making the open read. But don't have to force the first one. Not a great video.
Rebound.
Sorry about that. Okay. We may have seen this one before. Conservative coverage, pop, they have to make decisions. Patient with the ball, making a read, hesitate. They don't have
Canterbury, I want that.
Layup. Okay, we saw this one too. 3 side. Find the open guy. Okay, aggressive coverage. He hits the short roll this time, has it right in the middle, exactly where we want. He is helped out too early, cut behind, and where should our wing guy probably go? Slide, right? Cut and slide. Extend that guy so he can't guard both. I'd like to pause it. So if he can't squeeze it in, 2 side, backside coming up, you hit it from the opposite side, or he makes a read, maybe it's going right to him and right inside. And then it's dominoes. Now, as we've talked about, once you get to dominoes,
Canterbury, I want that game.
You just spoke about it. You just spoke about Okay, this is a little different situation, but screen, we're going to say he popped it, so he read the cut behind, which got his teammate open on the backside. Who was helping? And this is the first one that we saw. One more video before we close up shop. We talked about we want the defense to go over everything. If we can get the defense to go over, then we will create an advantage somewhere. So how do we do that again? What's the word? It's on the screen if you can find it. Twist. Twist the screens. Under, twist it, and come off. Now, a different teaching point than we've done in the past. Now we'll go back to the beginning. Not a good job shoulder to shoulder, but It was an under, so we turned it around. This player should be getting himself in a position where he has to defend him, and now we have an angle to come back downhill. So I know last year we would talk about stopping directly behind it. We're only going to stop behind it if we're taking that shot. If we're not, then we're getting it to the other side so that when we twist it, we can get a better angle. They don't do a great job here, but it's not terrible. They get the angle, and then it's going downhill with all of our reads. So we rolled, he lifted behind, and he's strong off 2 feet in the paint. And he's got a teammate open on the backside if he sees it. Under, twist, downhill, just making a read. Who's open, who's helping. Now, because he takes it over, now we have space to set this rescreen. And this is where we want to be. One side, front side, two side, backside, making the read. Conservative coverage. I personally would have popped it, but he's a rim runner, so he's getting to the rim for hopefully an alley-oop dunk.
I have a question.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily relate to these clips, but why would you usually want to reject the screen?
Okay, really, really good question. Let's go back. To reiterate that from yesterday, and we definitely should have brought that up. So if you reject the screen and do a good job setting him up and your defender is trying to get over this screen, if you can get past him, what have we created now?
A lot more space.
A lot more space, but also what's the term from the first day? Dominoes, right?
Oh.
So once you beat one guy and are forcing two players to play one, because this guy is going to try to recover back onto you, now someone is going to be open somewhere, and then it's just making those reads. And a lot of times this defender, he's not in this situation, but if it's an aggressive coverage and this guy is out here ready to help on the screen.
So this is conservative.
This is very, very conservative, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're aggressive and he were out here, if you rejected it and this player's not here, we have the entire lane to come down. And not only do we have dominoes
that's just an
now,
open layup.
That's an open layup, or someone helps, and then you make the pass to your teammates either spotting up or looking to cut themselves for a layup.
Thank you.
Yep, and we'll keep looking for those options. Okay, so it went from a two-side front side, now it's a two-side backside. So he rolls, he's gonna lift into the shooting area, and then we're just making the read. The lob is open because of this, but realistically, both those players on the weak side are open. So a good example, see how this guy is trying to fight underneath this screen? If he crosses over and then rejects it and gets past his man, someone has to help, and we're in dominoes already. Went under, so we're going to rescreen it. Now we're in dominoes. We have the advantage. We have two guys trying to play one, and it's just making the read. And this time, that's an open shot for him. Comes off. So for me, conservative, I'm popping. It's an open shot or 2-on-1 advantages. Dominoes has started. Okay, two side backside, one side front side, conservative. So for me, I'd probably be popping out if we can shoot the ball, because then we're already open. But he attacks, he lifts behind, we're all spaced, looking for an advantage. He keeps his dribble alive, and now he's got a shooter open in the corner. Okay, I love their jerseys, by the way. The pink and the highlighter. MK Dons, and I want to say Poland. Dribble alive, corner open, potentially this player open, potentially this player open. Keeping your dribble alive has a lot of value. Watch one more. Under, so we get the rescreen. So this is great, great example. Tried to reject it, okay? Didn't get by him, but now his defender is backpedaling and is going to be more difficult for him to defend that next screen. So putting the defender in a defensive position, and for lack of a better word. Now he goes over, and now it's just us making the read. Conservative, I would pop it. He rolls it, that's fine. We play through it. He's probably going to lift, and then we've got space on the back side. They don't help. 2-on-1, we can score at the rim. Okay, 2:03. We're late, so I'm going to get you out of here in a second. Okay. All right, so that's our week of camp. I hope we've gotten something out of it. These are things we're going to use for our program, but they're really universal. If you know how to read defense, you're always open. The game's a lot more fun. And this is not something we have focused on in the past, but everyone in the world plays through ball screens because it's probably the best way to create advantages. And if we can get good at it, I think we can be great at it again, especially because of who's in the program. We're going to do some more of these throughout the summer. Again, hopefully a couple times a week, having a little plan for a skill session and then maybe a video session too. We're also going to keep the football speed workouts going because that part's so important. So we're going to combine those when we start them up. So we're going to have a skill session and a speed and strength or a speed and agility session. And then on different days, we'll try to get together and do some video work or just get together. And again, reminding you guys, tell me what you think you might want to work on. Tell me what you liked about this week. I want to take everyone here. I'd like to send me an email just to give me some thoughts about it, how we can make this better, or things you think would be useful. All right, Teddy, say hi to your dad back there. I see him walking behind you. All right, thanks a lot. Hope we learned something. Hope we got a little bit better, and you will be hearing from me soon, and I hope to see all of you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Cade, post the link, Cade. Too late. I'll post the link.
Come on, Cade.
Hopefully everyone gets in there. So useful for you guys?
Yeah.
That stuff makes sense, the ball screen stuff, yeah? So it's a way of simplifying the game and still being able to see all of our different options.